Sean "Diddy" Combs is fighting for his reputation in the courtroom, but outside of it, a new kind of storm is rising. And it's not coming from victims' advocates or news media. It's coming from a surprising source, the Manosphere, an online network of male influencers, red pill commentators, and even celebrities who say Diddy is the one being hunted. They're calling him the victim, not the predator. And while their take is gaining traction fast, it's also stirring some major controversy. Today, we break down why the Manosphere is rallying behind Diddy, who's backing him, what they're saying, and why it's setting off alarm bells across the internet. 1. Myron, Boosie and Akademiks, the loudest voices. The first wave of support came from some very familiar Manosphere names. Myron Gaines, co-host of the Fresh and Fit podcast, recently called Diddy's case bigger than Epstein, bigger than Trump. He argues that this trial is less about crimes and more about canceling successful men. Meanwhile, DJ Akademiks went live defending Diddy, saying, Cassie's case was paid off. Everything after that is clout chasing. Even Boosie Badass, the outspoken rapper, tweeted, I don't see no crimes committed in this case. These aren't small voices, they command millions of loyal followers who view the justice system with suspicion, especially when it involves a powerful black man. This growing circle of support isn't just talking, they're shaping how millions interpret the case. 2. Their core message, Diddy is the real victim. The Manosphere's argument centers on one thing, Diddy is a target, not a predator. They argue that the lawsuits are part of a post-#MeToo wave of takedowns, where any high-profile man can be accused with little evidence and lose everything. Myron Gaines suggested the allegations were based on buyer's remorse from women who willingly stayed in relationships with Diddy. Others say the media has jumped the gun, amplifying old stories for clicks. Their stance: if there's no conviction, there shouldn't be cancellation. This reframes the legal conversation into a culture war about masculinity, fame, and power. And in their world, Diddy represents the last defense against what they see as an anti-male agenda. 3. TikTok trials and diddlations, a new media landscape. While traditional outlets cover the trial cautiously, social media is exploding with diddlations, daily dispatches from influencers outside the courtroom. Creators like Samson Kruppen and Emily Hagan are streaming updates, but with heavy bias. Instead of balanced coverage, we get viral hot takes, Cassie changed her story, or this witness is clearly lying. These streams often go viral not for facts, but for flavor. What's more worrying? Their TikToks and live streams regularly outperform mainstream news on reach and engagement. The Manosphere is leveraging this algorithm-driven chaos to dominate the narrative. And once something gets framed as a hit job against men, it's nearly impossible to correct, even if new facts emerge later. 4. Critics call out misogyny and misinformation. But not everyone's buying it. Women's rights groups, journalists, and even former fans are calling out the Manosphere's support as thinly veiled misogyny. They point out that many of these influencers routinely downplay abuse allegations and promote harmful gender stereotypes. The logic of, if she didn't leave, it wasn't abuse, is deeply dangerous, especially in cases involving manipulation, coercion, or trauma bonding. Critics also note that Diddy settled with Cassie immediately, something rarely done by the innocent. But instead of acknowledging that complexity, Manosphere creators often twist it into a flex, he paid her to avoid distraction. The concern isn't just about Diddy, it's about a culture that now reflexively protects power, not truth. 5. A bigger battle over influence and accountability. So what does all this mean for the Diddy trial? Legally, not much. Judges don't care about TikTok trends. But culturally, it's a massive shift. The Manosphere's defense of Diddy reveals how trials are no longer fought only in court, they're waged in the court of public opinion, where charisma beats credibility. We're watching the rise of an alternative media ecosystem where emotion and ideology trump nuance. And while the justice system may try to remain impartial, jurors, lawyers, and the public are swimming in a sea of content that often rewrites the facts before the trial ends. It's not just about whether Diddy is guilty. It's about whether truth still has a voice in the noise. Conclusion. The Manosphere's support for Diddy is shaping public opinion faster than any legal filing could. But their defense isn't just about one man, it's about pushing back against a cultural moment that demands accountability. Whether you see their stance as brave or biased, one thing is clear: social media is turning trials into battlegrounds of belief. And Diddy's case is just the latest flashpoint in a much bigger war over gender, power, and truth in the digital age. If this breakdown gave you something to think about, give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more real talk on real issues.